What's going on, my good people? It's your boy Jay Fry. Today we're outside in my small backyard garden where we're going to be amending a couple of our raised beds and also planting some seed potatoes. So hang out with your boy for a minute and check it out. Alright, so behind me I have 3 wooden raised beds that I started with, and throughout the fall I only used one of them. So the other 2 I had actually what they call put to rest, where I added some compost that I actually had in place and some fertilizer, and I covered those up with cardboard. So we'll take a look at those. And then the third bed I actually did plant in the fall. I planted beets and the carrots. We still got a couple of carrots that I guess I'm gonna go ahead and pull out today, and that'll be the end of those. So I'm probably just gonna amend 2 of these beds, and one of the wood raised beds I'm gonna go ahead and replace it, and then I'll amend it at that time. So y'all just bear with me. We had a nice little low rain last night, and now the wind has picked up today, so it may be a little windy, but you know what, I still got to come out here and do this because I am kind of behind. So let's go ahead and get started. But anyway, this is one of the original beds that I had, and these things right here, these are just some sticks from the okra plant. I kept those just, I don't know why. And like I said, I added compost to this bed and some of the other things before I covered it up, and I hadn't touched it or did anything since. So this cardboard has been down there, and this is gonna be the first time I'm removing it since like maybe in November, maybe a little earlier than that, but probably November. So we're gonna see how well the soil held up under here. I got worms already coming up to the top, so I think I did pretty good. I see a bunch of grubs, so I'm guessing I need to figure out how to get rid of these things. Now I do think they have some that won't hurt the plants that I can put down in there, but for right now I'm not gonna really worry about them. So let's see how the soil mixes up before I add something to it. Now I have noticed before that I get a bunch of these grub worms as well. So if you guys know of a way that I can get rid of those, please in the comments let me know, because right now I don't know, and I don't really like having them because I think they really do eat your roots up. Alright, so this bed right here looks pretty good as I expected, and I think the other bed is going to be about the same. So the good thing about this is that I did what they call put the bed to rest, where I added compost to it and some more organic matter to it and covered it up and didn't touch it. So I think that helped out a whole lot. Like I said, I just need a way to get rid of these grubs, so don't forget to let me know in the comments if you know of a way to get rid of these grubs. And also it's a good thing to do it, you know, throughout the year instead of trying to buy all of your compost and fertilizer and stuff at one time. It can get pretty pricey. Soil is one of the biggest costs when it comes to gardening that I've noticed so far. So that's why I'm also trying to create ways to create more of the compost myself. But enough of that. Alright, so this soil right here, I hadn't used it before, don't know what it looks like, but this is 2 cubic feet, and I paid like $4.97 for it. And the reason why I went with this one is because it was the cheapest I could find, and I just needed to add something to the bed to kind of fill it up a little bit. So this bed has a bunch of wood chips in it and everything. That's why it's fairly cheap, you know, but I can still use it. I'm still gonna use it because I have it. It's for in-ground use, but I think this all break down good enough. Alright, so the next thing I'm gonna add to it is gonna be some compost. Now, like I said, I did use my compost that I made here at first, but I don't have enough of that to add to it. And the next best compost that I found so far was this black cow, besides some of the mushroom compost, and I felt like it was a little bit too strong to put into my grow bags. But once I used it in the ground, I realized it was the next best thing out there. So if I hadn't amended my soil in the fall and let it drop down too far, I probably would need like 3 bags of that, and it's like $6 a bag, which is way more than I want to spend at one time, especially trying to get all of the raised beds together. Now in this bed, I plan on doing tomatoes and peppers. Now those are the 2 things I want to try to grow the most of this summer anyway, besides some of the other stuff. But instead of putting like a regular 5-5-5, I'm gonna go ahead and go with this tomato tone, which is a 3-4-6. So it costs the same price as the 5-5-5, but I might as well go ahead and put this down. So it's kind of windy, so and then this is just some bone meal. It should help as well too, even though I believe just this fertilizer and the compost alone may be enough, but I found some bone meal that I felt like was a good price, so I know the tomatoes and the peppers can use that, so I might as well just add some of that to it. And you know, I'm not gonna overdo it, because I do plan on, you know, adding fertilizer or nutrients to it throughout the growing season, so I feel like I can stretch everything out that way and don't have to spend too much money at one time. Now this blood meal, I probably really don't need to add this to it. As you can see, that's got the 13, which is mostly just nitrogen. But hey, let's put it in there anyway. Maybe everything will shoot up. I would use this one mostly on like so when I get ready to plant like the kale, the collard greens, and the chard and stuff like that, that's where this would really come in handy. And I forgot to mention that I did go ahead and use the cultivator, the tiller. I did till this up before I added the compost to it. So I loosened it up. I don't need to till it. I probably won't till it again for a while, but that may contribute to why it's so loose right now. And then I just disturbed the soil just a little bit more than I needed to. But I think it'll be okay. Alright, so this bed right here, this is one of the beds that I used to plant some beets and then the carrots in there. So the beets on this side that I planted, I don't know if you guys saw it. I planted the beets over here and they didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do too good. So I counted my losses. I did add compost and all of that to this bed right before I planted the beets. But the beets on that side was good and the carrots. So now the reason why we still have carrots here, because we had so many carrots, you know, I didn't want to harvest them all at once, and I felt like leaving them in the soil for a little while was a good way to kind of store them until we need them. And then we just been grabbing like a couple of them at a time, go ahead and wash them up, clean them up, chop them up and eat them. And this is gonna be the last harvest. So as far as trying to plant carrots in the summertime, I think I'm only gonna plant them in the fall and do the winter carrots, because they turned out pretty good. I had a couple of huge ones and a couple of small ones. A lot of these are probably a bunch of small ones, but we're gonna go ahead and get those out of here today. So that's gonna be the last of that's the last of our carrot harvest. Now we had a few of them that like some was smaller, some was bigger. Even though like right now, let's see, like this is probably one of the nicest one that I just pulled out, but there was a few of them in there twice the size of that. So we did pretty good with the carrots. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to this bed as I did that one, which I probably add a little bit more compost to it and a little bit more of the other amendments, because I did actually use this bed. All right, so I got those 2 beds done. I think that gonna work out pretty good. And like I said, I know I didn't say it at the beginning, but I'm gonna go ahead and plant these onions. Now these are just some red onions that I got from the big box store, and then yellow Granex onions. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna try to actually put all of them in this bed, but while I get the other beds ready and then we go and prepare the soil for the seed potatoes, I'm just gonna take half of these apart and I'm gonna soak them in some water. So, and I'm breaking it apart because I don't know exactly how many it is, but look like these red potatoes, it's all in one bunch. So I saved that many, and then the rest of them we're gonna go ahead and rehydrate this. We're gonna go ahead and rehydrate the soil in some water that we have right here, and then I'll come back and plant those later on. Might not plant them on camera or nothing like that, but that's how I'm getting them ready. I'm just putting the roots in this. By the time we finish doing what we're doing, they'll be ready for me to drop in and fill this whole bed up. So before we move on, let's go ahead and see how this bed right here looks up under this cardboard box and stuff that I have. This, like I said, I probably won't, I don't think I'm gonna amend this one today. I'm gonna be replacing this bed with actually with a big old garden raised bed. But we still want to take a look at it. So that's not too bad. These are just some these are some sticks and stems from the okra plants that I had. They didn't break down neither. So it looks pretty good. Besides all of these darn grub worms, I need to figure out how to get rid of the grub worms. And this bed has ants still. All right, so if you're still here with me, you know I appreciate it. And if you hadn't done so already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and help your boy grow. And also hit the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. So what I did today so far was I went ahead and amended 2 of my raised beds. And I think I saved myself a whole lot of hassle by adding organic matter throughout the year. When I say organic matter, that's just me adding some of the homemade compost that I have to those beds and covering it up, versus coming in at the beginning of spring and trying to go and buy all the soil and the amendments and other amendments that I need to get these beds ready. Right now, let's go ahead and amend some more soil to get ready for some seed potatoes. Now yesterday or the day before yesterday, I amended some of the soil already, but I have 2 more bags that I need to amend. Now I wish I would have covered them up before it rained last night. Now the bags are really heavy. And one other thing I learned about the grow bags is that that you shouldn't set them on the ground direct. They need to be on something, that way when you water them, the water can go out and it just don't sit on the ground. Because last year, once I emptied the bags, at the bottom of the bags, they were still very wet. It didn't drain properly, and some of the potatoes had rotted out. So, but anyway, let's go ahead and amend some soil for the potatoes. Man, that wind kicked up pretty good, didn't it? I hope it ain't messing up the sound on here, but we're gonna find out. So let's go ahead and amend some soil and get some potatoes planted. All right, so for me, I don't think potatoes need a whole lot to grow. I think the soil needs to be at least fairly loose in order for the tubers and all that to do its thing. So this is a what is this? I think these are 20-gallon grow bags. This is gonna be the second year I'm using these. These are Vivo Sun grow bags, and you saw last year I did potatoes and sweet potatoes in them. Now the potatoes did pretty good, and I feel like I can get better at the potatoes. And the sweet potatoes, and they didn't do good at all. So I'm gonna work on that too. So the only thing I'm really gonna add to this, let's see, I know I'm gonna add some compost. And the only compost I have right now that I want to use on these is this black cow. I do have some compost in my tumbler that I got going on. Matter of fact, I might show y'all that in a minute, but let me go ahead and get this one bag done. So I'm using this tomato tone versus the regular all-purpose plant food that I usually use year-round. I'm using this one for the potatoes because it has more of the potash in it. So I know that the potatoes need potash. Same thing with the bone meal. Don't have the potash in it, but the phosphate, and I think it needs that and potassium. But I'm really just using those for the potash, and so I mix this up pretty good. Now, I don't know if it needed that much compost, but I'm just mixing it up how I see fit. You know, I did it last year. I saw the results. I'm doing it a little bit different this year, trying to see if I can get better results. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we got enough soil amended to go ahead and fill 4 20-gallon grow bags. Now, I'm going to try the same method that I did last year. As far as planting potatoes, I did 2 layers. So we're going to be planting some Yukon Gold and Red Norland. So those are the only 2 that I'm going to plant this year. And I'm going to do the 2 layers because I don't want to plant them in any other bags. I have 1 more bag, but I'm just going to use these 4 that I have. So what is this? This is the Yukon Gold, and they already a nice size potato. So I'm just gonna put the whole thing in there. It already has a couple of eyes on them. I probably should have. I just got them the other day. I probably should have set them out. Maybe they would have sprouted a little bit more, but this might be well enough. So I might end up doing another bag, so I could do 2 bags with the Yukon Gold. I could do 2 bags with the Yukon Gold, and then maybe 2 bags with the red potato. Now I pretty much did this same thing last year, and I think I got pretty decent results for the first time, and I'm gonna do it again. So all I'm doing is like I know I got the handles on both sides, so I'll drop a seed potato where those handles are, and I do this in both grow bags. So let me go ahead and do that now. Once I put those in place, and that's probably about 8 inches of soil before I put that potato down there. Probably about 8 inches, give or take. And then I'll just top these off. And then once I get this topped off to a decent level, I'll add the rest of the potatoes to the top. So the line that I use for that is here. These grow bags have a little flap right here. The first line came to that one, so that's how I'm gonna measure it from there. So I'll take 2 more, put it right here. Look, that's a little bit, I'm just gonna throw it in the middle. One to grow on, you know what I'm talking about? Then we'll cover them up. That was that. We're gonna do the same thing with the our red Norland seed potatoes. Let's see how these look. So these look a whole lot better sprouted than the other potatoes. So maybe I'll get better results because of these sprouts. But yeah, I'm just gonna pretty much do the same thing. The bottom level, I'll put them on the side where the handles are. All right, so I decided to take a small 5-gallon grow bag to go ahead and plant the rest of these seed, not the rest of them, but a few more of these seed potatoes in, just to see what it do. You know, I got plenty extras, so I might as well try it out. And matter of fact, I'm gonna put 3 of them in here, just like that. And I still got 6 more left if I decide to do another 20-gallon grow bag. So I just wanted to test this out. I had an extra small 5-gallon bag in there. Now this may be too small, and it may be perfect. All right, so we got a few of our seed potatoes planted, and I don't know if I told you guys before, we're here in Texas on 8B, where the weather can be kind of crazy. Like right now, it's extra windy, and I probably need on the jacket. I feel my nose starting to run a little bit, but I'm working up a little sweat, messing with this soil. So if you see right here, let's take a look. I have 4 grow bags with seed potatoes in it. Now I already forgot which one was the gold and which one was the red, but I know this little 5 gallon grow bag right here is gonna be the red potato. So maybe if all of them pop up and they look alike, I can compare and go from there. But now I am going to go ahead and plant these onions in that bed over there. But since I'm out here messing with compost or whatnot, let me show you guys some of the compost I'm making with the compost tumbler that I started last year. I think it's turning out pretty good. Let's take a look at it. So not too long ago, I put together this compost tumbler. This one here is by Vivo Sun too. And I've already been able to use some of the soil on this side. You don't need to see this side, it's pretty nasty because I've been adding to this one. But this side right here, now it's not enough to go in none of my raised beds or nothing like that, but I could probably fill up maybe a 5-gallon bucket with this soil on this side. So it's broke down pretty good. You can hardly tell what's what inside here besides the eggshells and some of the stuff that's sprouting. So it's not completely finished compost, but when you have it like this, it don't take as much as it takes when you're buying it from the store and using the whole bag of compost. So I just wanted to show you guys that. So there's stuff in there sprouting or whatever, but this is compost. All I've been putting in there is our kitchen scraps and stuff like that. I've been adding some extra soil that we had, kind of help break it down, but it's doing this thing. All right, so while I got a little time, I had to go in and get a jacket. It's pretty cool out here. I'm gonna go ahead and plant these onions. So I went ahead and made all of my little holes where I'm gonna put them at, or just indentions. You know what I'm saying? I figured 5 to 6 inches apart. I'm just gonna do this whole bed with onions. Now the only thing I'm kind of worried about is that cheap bag of garden soil that I got that's really for in-ground. You know, it has a bunch of big pieces in there like that. I didn't use a whole bunch, but I hope it doesn't affect me planting anything. And I did go ahead and pretty much soaked all of the onions in some water. Let me take them out right now. They were pretty much all sitting in the water while we were doing the potatoes. So let me go ahead and get these put in. All right, so I just went ahead and added some fertilizer over the indentions just to add a little bit more to the location of where the onions are going to be at. So I've done this a few times. I had good success with the onions. The only thing I need to get down is how to cure them. So I pretty much do them like I did the carrots. I just let them stay in there and try to get them use as much as we can, but I'm only going to plant it down to about right there, give or take. Something like that there. So let me go ahead and get all of these done. I'm gonna knock this whole row out, and then we'll be good to go for the rest of the day. All right, so that's pretty much it. We got a couple of raised beds amended, planted some seed potatoes. I had to go in and get a jacket. I'm gonna finish planting these onions in this bed right here. So I appreciate you guys for hanging out with your boy. If you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. I'll holler at you.